Hey everyone, it's Colin, and I just got done playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and god damn, it's a stellar game. I couldn't get enough of the Final Fantasy VII world, so I had to play Crisis Core next. But the biggest difference that caught me off guard was really how different the two openings were, even though they were kind of representing the same things. But like, there were also some straight up differences here and there, and that's kind of where there's the most confusing stuff being played. And I figured why not talk about exactly what those differences are, why I like certain things in both of them, and also just what questions do I have as a whole. Now, please do keep in mind that I have not played the original Final Fantasy VII. I know, Remake was the first one I played. Don't casterize me, or please don't spoil anything in the comments below for me, because I am waiting to do so till after that third part comes out. But with that being said, there will be spoilers for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and also Crisis Core. So do watch at your own discretion if you're playing through that. I know the PC port just came out. Stellar port, by the way. But yeah, so initially the biggest difference between the two obviously is just going to be how basically Cloud takes over Zack's main character role for this whole opening Nibelheim region. Initially, Zack isn't seen in this section at all until way later in the game. But we do in fact learn later that Zack did take part of the expedition. But in Crisis Core, we have quite the opposite. Here, Cloud isn't soldier yet, and Zack is kind of the main one running everything. Tifa's dad is not in the game at all, and that is something that plays a major part in the remake games. And that you'll know if you've gone through pretty much all of Final Fantasy VII Remake and a pretty substantial part of Rebirth. But as you know, if you've beaten Remake, and also played through a decent bit of Rebirth, they're kind of doing this Final Fantasy VII multiverse. And right now we kind of know of at least 3 different major timelines. I'm going to refer to one as the Remake timeline, that being the main course of our hero in their current expedition. And also the original timeline, where Zack actually, spoiler alert again, dies at the end of Crisis Core. And finally the third major timeline in which Zack actually lives, and we also see glimpses of that in Remake and Rebirth. Now the first timeline I really want to dive into is going to be that of Rebirths, and I'm going to call it the Remake timeline. And in this timeline, the Nibelheim section starts off with 2 soldiers, Cloud and Sephiroth, and also 2 security for Shinra. This would be the first time Cloud has been back to his hometown in 2 years after making it in the soldier program. Also making it his first time he's seen his mom, Tifa, and a few others around town in a couple years. When we go up to the reactor in which our heroes were told to survey, Sephiroth kind of learns that his whole life has pretty much been a lie. Cloud and him return back to the town. Sephiroth throws a huge bitch fit, sets fire to all of Nibelheim after locking himself away for a couple days in Shinra Manor. Takes down Cloud's mom, of course, Tifa's dad. And as Tifa tries to avenge her father, it doesn't go very well and she gets sliced. Pretty much seemingly killing Tifa or seriously injuring her, in which Cloud picks her up in his arms and she basically told him that she failed him and broke their promise. And then Cloud goes in to confront Sephiroth, and that's where we get cut off. Later in the game, we actually learn that with Cloud and Sephiroth, one of those security troopers was actually Zack the soldier, and he seemed to have drowned or got tossed downstream, or who really knows what happened to him in this timeline. So Cloud is having some memory issues here, and that's brought up to the tension at the end of the game, and we'll talk about more of that later. Now, one major detail I kind of forgot about after my first playthrough is right after you finish this entire Nibelheim storytelling section, Tifa says to Aerith that as far as she knows, Cloud was never in Nibelheim 5 years ago. Then again, I'll get to that in a second. Let's go over a brief overview of the original timeline. Here we have 2 soldiers again, but this time it's actually Zack and Sephiroth, and also 2 security troopers, which one is actually Cloud. So Cloud's not a soldier yet in this, and it's also never really clear if he ever became one. This time is really not that different though, just pretty much Zack takes over what Cloud did the entirety of that last story time. Except Cloud's a little unique here because he kind of hides his face from his entire hometown and doesn't really visit anyone, and is not really realized he was there until Sephiroth once again does the same shit, burns down the entire town, that sort of thing. Which is funny because Tifa is constantly asking Zack about a possible blonde that's either working at Shinra or becoming a soldier, clearly referring to Cloud. And like I said, here there's no mention of Tifa's father's death or even Cloud's mother pretty much at all. Outside of that, he invites Zack to dinner. Tifa still goes to try and stop Sephiroth, basically for her town, and still gets struck down. Zack will engage in a battle with Sephiroth, eventually actually falling to him, after pretty decently wounding him. And here Cloud will actually stab Sephiroth, make him weaker, Sephiroth will stab Cloud back, but Cloud actually ends up overpowering him and killing our boy Sephiroth. But that leaves Cloud and Zack to be captured by Hojo and experimented on. Now the biggest thing we don't know here is how the remake timeline's Nibelheim ended, because apparently Cloud just doesn't remember. And that's probably the biggest mystery of them all, and I'm sure we'll figure it out in the third installment. But other than that, the most significant thing is the pretty weird role swaps that Zack and Cloud tend to be playing. Now which do I personally like better? It's a little hard to say, because on one hand we have one that its conclusion hasn't been told yet, and technically I don't know if we ever will, and I'm hoping the third game dives more into that, but it's still just unknown. With that being said, I think I'd still have to give it to Rebirth in this category, because one, it does a lot more character building in this segment, and also a little bit to that Zack twist that leaves me thinking after I play through the whole game. Getting to actually see how Cloud interacts with his mother in the town was really cool. And seeing how he'd been gone for 2 years, there's a lot more emotion portrayed on the both of them. Especially when he sees everything go up in flames. It really makes you feel for him and also develop that hatred for Sephiroth that Cloud also has. Not to mention him picking up a bleeding Tifa and her being like, hey, you broke your promise to me, I'm gonna die. And this leaves a very big point in the story where Cloud is vulnerable to Sephiroth's manipulation because he's like, Tifa should have died. And Tifa has to reassure him quite a few times actually that she is not a clone. But like I said, the one thing that's really drawing me to it is the mystery of it all. Like for example, how does this interaction between Cloud and Sephiroth conclude? Does Zack come back and save Cloud in his memory? Or what exactly happened? Like what other details from this is maybe Cloud misremembering? There's just so much here as a new player I really don't know. My personal theory is that Cloud was there in what Tifa remembers, but not as a soldier, but instead Shinra's security. Kinda like how it was in Crisis Core, because Cloud never actually showed his face to Tifa throughout all of Crisis Core. One thing, I don't think Zack actually died floating down that river, and also I don't think Cloud ever actually interacted with his mother, because there is one little scene where she kind of fades in and out while he's getting all that static fuzzball, whatever the hell, misremembering, mumbo jumbo degradation, whatever you want to call it. The last thing here is I definitely think Hojo still experimented on Cloud after he might have killed Sephiroth again, and also developed this soldier persona in Cloud's head, because he kind of hinted to that in Remake when he told Cloud that that's just what he thinks. He's never actually been a soldier. But who knows if I'm right. But back to the point at hand, the biggest thing I like about the Crisis Core version is that relationship that Zack and Cloud really seem to form over that small period of time. And also you get to see how Cloud gets the Buster Sword. And Zack is really a big reason, and the reason Cloud takes the right steps into becoming a hero. But overall, it doesn't really add feelings to the characters like Rebirth does. At least not in that segment. Now, was the original addressed in this? Like I said, I can't really talk about it because I don't really know. I mean, the whole thing with Remake and Rebirth is that bits and pieces do stay the same, but there's obviously some stuff changing. But overall, there's not really big mention of the original timeline or anything like that throughout the games. Because the only things really going on in other worlds is just the stuff going on with the Zack Lives world. Now my biggest questions are probably just what the hell is happening in that intro of Rebirth. What exactly happened that Cloud didn't remember pretty much? Did Cloud ever actually get experiments done to him by Hojo? Like I said, I'm pretty sure I already know the answer to that one, but I would like to know for sure. Because like Cloud did get a little bit of PTSD when looking at those containers in Shinra Manor, and that just kind of hints towards it for me as well. So really there's just a whole lot of mystery to that whole side of things with Cloud. And that's really not where it stops here. There's a bunch of stuff at the end of the game, and I would love to touch on that, but that's gonna have to be a topic for another day. And also, did Cloud kill Sephiroth? I'm pretty sure he did, because at the very beginning of Remake, he actually sees Sephiroth and was like, oh, I killed you though. So I'm thinking that it's basically just the same thing as Crisis Core, that he's just misremembering due to manipulation or Hojo's experiments. But like I said, I'm not gonna know until probably the third installment. Pretty much either that part of the story was either decanonized, or Cloud's degradation is a lot worse than I thought. Or it's just Sephiroth and Genova's link to him playing tricks on him. Or maybe for some other reason he just didn't want to bring up to the team that he had killed Sephiroth before. Like I said, I don't really know, but I believe it's more that Sephiroth is just messing with their mind link and kind of manipulating Cloud, because that's pretty much what this whole game has been about. And I bet some of you know exactly what's going to happen for all this stuff, because it's probably touched on the original game, in which I would really like it that you don't spoil it for me, because I will be reading the comments. So if you guys do have any talking points or new players like me who are also curious about this, I would love to talk about it down below. Yeah, if you guys do want to also see more stuff on Final Fantasy, trust me, I got a lot of ammunition. I could talk about a lot with this series. Mainly Final Fantasy VII. But nonetheless, that's really all I had to cover for this topic. So yeah, if you do want to hear more about this game or just want more videos like this in general on other games or this one or that sort of thing, please do let me know down below. Did enjoy? First off, thank you for watching this long, but if you did like it enough, if you could leave a like and think about subscribing, helps my small channel grow tremendously, so you'd be really helping me out with that. And also, I did stream some of the footage of me playing this game over on Twitch. So if you want to say hi and talk to me while I'm experiencing these games that I'm playing through for footage for you guys, come over there. It's twitch.tv/itscontrast. I'll leave the link down below. But yeah, feel free to do that as well. But I think that's all for now, and yeah, it's been the Pixel Critic.
That was good as fuck, Vindictive. Good job. Oh my god.
Wait, what are you implying? That I died? That I'm some
Coming
kind
out.
of imposter?